welcome to the Dropship Podcast, another tactical Tuesday episode. In this show, we're going to break down some favorite books that John and I have that really helped shape our careers and helped us make millions of dollars or whatever clickbait title we can throw in here. So I don't know. Some of these books have really helped me, and I think talking about books in general and how, look, I struggle with them. If I'm honest with you, I struggle with reading books, and I know you love books, John. So maybe we can get into that and get into how all the gurus tell you need to read a book a week or whatever. Ty Lopez talking about reading a book a day or some shit. I don't know, but I think there's a few that have really helped all of us, and a lot of them that have just rehashed and honestly, that's like part of my problem with books. So I'm ready to jump into the list. But if you want to talk about Ty Lopez first, we can do that, John.
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, you hear a lot online, people out there saying, yeah, the average successful CEO reads a book a week or blah, blah, blah. And sometimes you just sit there and go, yeah, but do they really? Is it like, so what? And I just don't, I think that's, it's just that all that sort of stuff's just another catchy way that people try to hook you into whatever they're doing. Like, I don't think that's true at all. I bet you there's plenty of successful people, myself included, who do not read a book a week. I wish I could read a book a week. Let's be honest. I would if I could, but I've just got other things to do. And so I don't sit down and read a book a week. But, that's, at the end of the day, books are just content, right? Like, they're content. And yes, there's tons of great books out there full of great content that can help you run a better business, be better yourself, blah, 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 and so on. But you can find that content in other places as well. So I think the whole obsession that some people have with books, is probably a little bit of a stretch.
I think you're kind of describing the problem I have with, but I don't think anyone's actually reading a book a week or a book a day if you're Ty Lopez. But I do think they're ingesting the one nugget. We were kind of talking about this before the call. The problem I have with books is it's here's the one thing we want to teach you, and then here's 100 parables or stories around this thing so that you can wrap your head around it. And look, maybe some people need that. I don't need that. Just give me the gold and let me really marinate on that rather than tell me another story and drag it on. I think that's the problem with books. Actually, you'll probably hear that in a couple of my lists where it's shocking that I like them because they are that. So it's really hard for me to imagine reading a whole book. But if you could just extract those nuggets and there's got to be something other like Blinkist or something who has really pulled the cliff notes for you, and you don't need a million examples to think through it. And so I don't know. I struggle with reading. I really do. The amount of podcasts I consume is outrageous. And so you would think audiobooks would be easier for me. But again, it's just so slow and boring. There's been a few books that were, transformational. You had me listen, I believe, to $100 million offers, which spoiler alert, might be on your list here on my drive home from Florida last year after our family and I departed in the spring. And that made my drive awesome, right? So there are some out there that are fantastic, but I think too many of them are almost watered down. And I'm the exception. If the rule is you have to read a book a week to be successful, I'm the exception to the rule because I probably literally haven't read 30 books in my whole life, 40 tops. I think I read 2 in school that we were required to read. Great books, by the way. My Side of the Mountain and Where the Red Fern Grows, fantastic books, but I didn't read anything else during school.
Yeah, I think I'd go back to what I was saying before. I think it's important that, when you're somebody who's, starting your entrepreneurial journey and that sort of thing, there's things that you need to learn, right? There's things that you do need to know. But how you find those things out or learn those things, I don't think it matters. Do you need to read books? No, because you can listen to podcasts, right? So we're complete opposites. I love reading books, right? I'm definitely a book guy. I enjoy consuming content that way. And I read pretty fast, right? So, I feel that I move through books pretty quickly. You, on the other hand, really love podcasts, whereas I don't listen to a ton of podcasts just because, honestly, I find a lot of people really annoying and I can't stand listening to them, right?
Yeah.
So
that's how I feel about people reading books, though. The book mindset has been told, yeah. I need to read this. And I'm sure it's a great book, but the lady reading it, I think she's the author. Oh my, it makes my ears hurt. I don't want to do it. Right. And I find that with a bunch of authors. I think there's another one on your list where I was like, I can't do it. I just don't want to listen to them. It's just the flow isn't good. And so it can be the same way, I think.
Yeah. I never listen to audiobooks it's the same thing as podcasts. I don't listen to audiobooks either. I think for a similar reason, I don't want to hear that person telling me that stuff. I prefer to just do it myself. You know what I mean? So if you're listening to this and you're like, I really struggle to read books, like just the act of sitting down and reading, it just doesn't work for me, then don't feel pressure that you need to read books. Yes, you need to learn things. There's things you need to learn, but the great thing about today is you can do that in a variety of different formats. So go and find what you love, and digest content that way. I mean, that's the best way to do it. Yeah.
Well, let's not make anybody wait any longer. So I'll jump right in. My first one's super easy. It is exactly what I told you I hate about books. It's called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. He's literally teaching you compounding interest in your life, and that if you just take small steps every single day, you're going to get to your destination, and it's going to compound on itself. Still a fantastic book. Look, it's very short. If you want to read it, there's a couple short ones on my list here. I would recommend The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. But again, it's one point driven home over and over and over and over again. Take it away, John. There's not much to say about The Slight Edge. I love it. It's one of the first books I ever read in business, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, totally. So my first one is one I've mentioned, I think, a number of times on this podcast. And certainly most of the books I read do have a bit of a bent towards marketing, because that's something that I just love and nerd out on. So my first one is probably the marketing book. If you are ever going to read a book on selling, marketing, Ben's holding it up if you're watching the video, of course, it is Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. And so it was written quite a long time ago now. I think, I can't remember if it was the 60s maybe or something like that, 60s or 70s. But Eugene Schwartz, one of the OG marketers. And look, honestly, so many books have been written since that basically just rehash what is in that book. So this is like talking about how do you sell stuff to people. Now, if you want to build a successful e-commerce business, you have to learn, how do you sell stuff to people? How do you need to trigger people's brain to get them in the space where they're going to buy something? How do you present that to people? How do you write so that people experience that? And so that's like one of the greatest books to work through that stuff. So like going back to it, like you have to read it. It's not cheap. As far as books go, I think I paid $190 or something for it, like that. But there's a website you can buy it. It's not on Amazon. It's the rights to selling it are owned by another very successful marketer. Surprise, surprise. I think everybody should read this. If I could give any book to somebody who's starting a business, that would be the book I would give them for sure.
The funny part of that book is like this, it actually tells the story of how much Ben doesn't like reading books, because I've had that book in my backpack for 3 fucking years, dude. And every trip I go on, I'm like, I'll read this one on the plane. Nope. Listen to podcasts. I'll read it when I get to the hotel room. Nope. I'm going to scroll YouTube, or something. Like I still have not read one single page, and it's literally been in this backpack everywhere I've gone around the world. And so, man, I hate reading books. I wish I didn't
read it, Ben.
I can
read it.
No, I don't. I was going to say I commit.
Read it.
All right. Number 2 for me is a book called Traction. The part I love from this is actually, it's more in his other book, Rocket Fuel. It's by Gino Wickman and a few other people. John's holding up there. It's a good book. It teaches you a lot about organization and how to run your business. I like a lot of things about it. I like the visionary integrator component that I learned more in Rocket Fuel than I did in Traction. I'll tell you this. I liked the book a lot until I saw the integrator, the main guy, I don't know who it was, if it was Gino or who it was, come do a presentation at E-commerce Fuel, and he was there for like 2 hours, a lot of good stuff. And then he was hammering a point home of like 3 strikes and you're out. And that's how it is. That's how you have to handle your business. I don't care if the guy's been there 25 years and he had strike 1 in year 4, strike 2 in year 11, and strike 3 in year 25. You fucking fire his ass right now. And I was just like, all right. I kind of lost interest in this. Like, come on, man. He was a little too much for me, but the book is fantastic. I would recommend any business owner read Traction, read Rocket Fuel, especially if you're in a partnership, read Rocket Fuel and try to understand the visionary integrator partnership and like who you are at the core. Are you the guy who is airy-fairy and up in the clouds and thinking about everything at 30,000 feet? Or are you the implementer and you just want to get shit done? And you're likely more one of those than the other. You're certainly not 100%, 0%, but you're likely more one of those than the other. So funny little nugget here. John also had Traction on his list and I made him change it because that's my choice.
Yeah. It's yours. Cool. All right. So number 2 on my list. So I like to read some books to more help me internally with the way I think and the way I do things. And sometimes just as a bit of a kick in the ass when I get lazy. Right. And this book is definitely for me is one of my kick in the ass books. It is Discipline Equals Freedom by Jocko Willink. Putting it up on the screen there so you can see it. Jocko has been very popular in recent years. He's an ex-Navy SEAL team leader. He's been on a lot of big podcasts. He has his own podcast, which is quite good. And so, he's like one really tough dude. And one of his mantras is that, if you want to get anywhere in life, you have to be disciplined. Probably unsurprising from somebody who comes from a military background. But for me, when I was younger, I always struggled with self-discipline and sticking to things, focusing, following through, all of that sort of stuff. And I think when I started to address that in my life, I became much better at doing things that I wanted to do, unsurprisingly, and doing better with my businesses and all that sort of thing. So this book, Discipline Equals Freedom, it's definitely written in a particular style that I don't think will appeal to everyone. And that's, unsurprising for that sort of guy. But for me, I like to read it, even just read parts of it every now and then, because it's kind of like having a dude like that standing next to me and slapping me around the head and saying, hey, buddy, do this better, sort of thing. So
I think you and I are similar. Like, we grew up making poor decisions. We were told we weren't normal and we didn't fit in the box. Then we rebelled really fucking hard and did all sorts of, I don't want to say unspeakable things, but we did what 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old dumbasses do. And when it came time to being an entrepreneur, at least for me, it was more rebellion. It was like, I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to show, you know what I mean? And I really pushed away from everything. And then the more I grew as an entrepreneur, I was actually like, I need to live by my calendar. I need discipline. I actually need structure. Everything I pushed away from, I actually need, but I need it in my own way. And so I added that book to my never ending, my Audible account has just dozens of books I'll never listen to. So I just added that to also my never listened to downloaded book. Anyway,
you should go and listen to his podcast if you haven't been.
I've heard him on Rogan a few times, but I don't know too much about him. When he's referenced by other people, they're like, yeah, he's nuts. So I don't know. All right. So next up on my list is a book. It's not necessarily, would you call this a business book, John? It's called Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. It's the founder of Nike, and he's kind of telling his story, but it's written in like the hero's journey. It's written very story. I don't know. It's very, very good. It's very, very enthralling. It'll keep you occupied. It'll really make you think. But it's also, the story of Nike and his trials and tribulations and how it started, with Oregon Track. And like, it's a fantastic book. I really, really, really enjoyed this one as far as like the story. And I think if more business books were more story oriented, that they would appeal to me more personally. I don't know. I like this one. Did you ever read Shoe Dog?
I have not. I have never read it.
You should add that one. It's a good book.
Yeah, cool, man. I will. All right, number 3 on my list is The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing by Al Ries and Jack Trout. You can see it here. The thing I love about this book is its length. It is super short. I believe it comes in, this version I've got here comes in at 130 pages. And the title is very self-explanatory in what it does. It takes you through a few pages each of 22 things. They call them immutable laws, but 22 things that that you need to do in your marketing for your marketing to be successful. So, just pulling one out. The law of perspective. Marketing effects take place over an extended period of time. And so they'll go through, and once again, it's not a new book. This is one of those old classic marketing books. And for each law that they suggest is, something you must adhere to if you want your marketing to be successful, they give examples. And so these are examples of very big and successful companies that everybody would know to back up, their law. But you can literally, once again, for me, this is something that it's a book I like to pick up. And because I can read something out of it in about 1 minute, and it comes back and it helps me to refocus on that particular part of, my marketing. So it's kind of like a check thing and say, well, am I still doing this when I'm writing emails to people, when I'm, doing a video for social media or whatever it might be, or writing a product description for an e-commerce site? Am I doing this when I present these products to people? And it's so quickly and easily digestible. And I believe the things that they suggest in there are 100% correct, and that they're things that people should be doing. So if you want a super quick read that is going to make your marketing for your e-commerce business more successful, definitely read that one. You read it in a few hours.
Is there one law you can mention right now that just stands out?
Yes. I think one that I love is that I talk about quite a bit when I talk to people about their offer is the law of perception, which I think is the fourth law in their book. And that's the law of perception says that reality isn't actually relevant in marketing. It's what is relevant is what the customer perceives to be the case, is what the customer perceives to be reality. And those sometimes are two different things, or they're not exactly the same. So, I'll read a couple of lines out of this, which just to get people's brains turning. It's an illusion. There is no objective reality. There are no facts. There are no best products. All that exists in the world of marketing are perceptions in the minds of the customer or prospect. The perception is the reality. Everything else is an illusion. I'm just going to leave that one there, and people can think about that.
I mean, that's some deep shit that has more to do with life than even marketing, for that matter. So,
possibly it
another
does,
one added to my don't listen to Audible list. Here we go. All right, so one short book to another short book. This one is 114 pages, and I actually believe at like 2x, which should be reasonable for everybody, is like 30 minutes on Audible. Fantastic little book. It really helped me get over my fear of failure and it made me go, and it's just called Do the Work, and it's all about like being a professional and shipping. Like, ship your work, just put it out there and iterate once it's out there, rather than iterate and never launch, which I was very, very good at. I remember buying a business and waiting to call suppliers, and then I called them and I'm waiting to launch because it wasn't the perfect theme, and just like all of these reasons to not go right now. And this book really helped me get through it. So it's called Do the Work. It's by Stephen Pressfield. I believe it's like a excerpt of a bigger book called The War of Art, which I have not read. I believe that is a massive book by Stephen Pressfield, and he's got a few others. I can't remember, Going Pro or something. I can't remember the name of the other one. He's very, very good. I would definitely recommend Stephen Pressfield. And if you're looking for the shortest of short reads, grab John's book he just mentioned, 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, and Do the Work, and you should be done with both of those in an hour and a half.
Yeah, nice. The next one, which is also a fairly short book, I actually don't even know if there's a physical version of this book. I assume there might be, but I actually read this as an ebook. $100 million offers. Ben mentioned it before, by Alex Hormozy. I think it's a good, fun little book. Once again, a lot of what Alex talks about in this book is not new stuff. It's kind of like a modern take on actually some of the stuff that's in books I've already mentioned. So breakthrough advertising, for example. But it is done. It's up to date. It's based on what a dude who is super successful in the business space right now. Alex Hormozy, if you don't know him, I struggle to think you haven't seen him on social media if you're in the business space. But he's had a lot of success in the fitness industry. Now runs a business called acquisition.com, and building a really big thing over there. So I think it's just a really fun book to read. And once again, if you're interested in doing marketing successfully and building a big business, you need to know how to build an offer that people want to take up, right? And so that's what the book is all about. How do you build a great offer that people it's a no-brainer for people to buy, right? And that's, we've talked about this a lot before, but it's kind of central to selling anything, is having a great offer. So once again, I think it's for a modern take on some fairly old principles. I think it's a must read for anybody who wants to run any sort of business. Once again, not just e-commerce, just you want to sell anything, go read that book. I
think he's very digestible. I really like the way he comes across in the whole book, and it's straight to the point. It's no nonsense, but it's also very digestible. And yeah, I can't recommend that one enough for sure. Another last one for me, short book again, and you've definitely heard it on this podcast. And if you haven't gone and bought it already, like this is your nudge once again. It's called Vivid Vision by Cameron Herold. It's fan-fucking-tastic. Really helps you set your vision for your life, and go set your vision for your company, for your personal life, for your children, whatever it is. Like, go set that vision, go sit in that vision and feel what it feels like, and then go after it. I believe this is an excerpt from his larger book called Double Double, which I also listened to driving home from Denver. So it's like a 13-hour drive. Took me the whole drive at like 3.5x. Awesome book as well. But if you want just the little excerpt, Vivid Vision, fantastic book as well. And short. I love that a lot of these are short and to the point.
Yeah, that one definitely would have been on my list as well. And it's one that we recommend in our program in Dropship Breakthrough that all of our students go and read once again, because it is so short, and it can have such a big impact on what you're doing. So
honestly, we should start setting that to our students. Like when they sign up, like we're just going to nail them. It's a little hard because, we have people signing up from all over the world. So that could be a little bit harder, but certainly in the US. And I used to do the same thing with my consulting clients. That was like the first thing I would buy everyone. It's just like, go buy this book. If you don't know where you're going, how can I really help you?
Yeah, totally. All right, and the last one on my list in my top 5 is I had to include one from Seth Godin. I know Ben's going to shake his head and go, "Oh, I didn't like that one," or that book, or Seth, or whatever. But certainly somebody who had a lot of influence over me, particularly early when I was going through and learning a lot of just the basics of marketing and all of that sort of thing. The one I read a number of books by Seth, I'll say, but the one I'll include in my list is Permission Marketing. By Seth Godin. And I think the kind of why I like that one is because it's about provide, and this has been helpful to me in my journey is and part of what we do with this podcast is before you ask people for money, provide them some value. Right? And then it makes it much easier for you to ask them for money and for them to pay you money, right? And so as opposed to the mindset that a lot of people get into when they come into business is somebody needs to pay me money and then I'm going to provide them value when they don't know me. They don't know me from a bar of soap. And it's just not really the way it works. If you want to sell a lot of anything, provide some value first, the money will come. Right. And so I think that's very much the way we run our business, particularly. I think you'd agree, Ben?
Yeah, and with that, John has an offer for that's what I love about podcasts, right? It's just free value upon free value upon free value. I don't even know what episode this is. We're in the 50s, I believe, right? And you can go back and literally learn this whole business model just listening to us. So, as I'm not a huge fan, I just think I don't like his reading style, if I remember.
Yeah.
Like I have Purple Cow on Audible, and I'm not I like the principles. I'm not sure I liked how he was talking, and I'm pretty good friends with his protege, Clay Hebert. He's pretty awesome, and so he had nothing but amazing things to say. So I'm sure I'm missing out on some amazing human just because I didn't like his voice or something. I have no idea. So let's throw a few more in there just for funsies. Honorable mention on John and I's list: .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. I believe he's got a bunch of secrets after that as well, expert secrets and funnel secret or whatever else he's got. He loves the secrets word, but I thought .com Secrets early in my journey really helped me understand marketing. And I know John, I'm going to speak for John and say he didn't invent this shit. Russell just kind of spun it his own way and put it in there. But for me, it was easy to learn. I really appreciated the way he taught that, and so I think .com Secrets is a fantastic book. I would imagine he'll give it to you for free if you're going to give him your email, and he'll upsell you 3 things and downsell you 4 things on the way out the door. But good book, .com Secrets. Do you have anything to say about .com Secrets, John?
No, I think you said it. I mean, I've read all of Russell's books, and certainly, yes, there's some new stuff in there, but a lot of it is once again, same as I mentioned with $100 million offers. It's kind of like a good modern take, using the way that we sell online now, on a lot of long-standing principles in business, sales, psychology, all of that sort of stuff. And so for a lot of people, that probably makes it much easier to digest than some of the older books, which are more sort of rooted in sending stuff in the mail or putting ads in newspaper print or something like that. Even though the principles are all the same, it's just, it feels more up to date. And I think that probably gets a lot more people in. But, those books are on the money for sure.
Well, I got two more here in honorable mention. I'm not sure if you've read any of these, John. If you have, speak up. One is Contagious by Jonah Berger. I don't even know how to describe that one other than go read it. It's fantastic. It'll teach you a lot about psychology, I would say. I'm not really sure how to describe Contagious, but it's a fantastic book. And then the other is one where I believe you can get like the first chapter online, and there's nobody better reading a book, in my opinion, than Tony Robbins. It's called Awaken the Giant Within. I've literally only read the first chapter because I can't listen to that first chapter and not go immediately want to run through walls. It is a fantastic first chapter. I'll tell you that. I've never actually read the whole book, but just on that first chapter alone, I would recommend it. I challenge anyone listening to this, go find that first chapter, listen to it, and tell me you want to go listen to more rather than actually go do some work, because it's incredible. I don't know. I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan, as I think everyone should be. I don't know. Do you remember when we were younger, John, and like fixing yourself was taboo, and like actually wanting to do self-development? Or maybe it was different in Australia, but definitely in America. Like,
no. Oh god,
there was something wrong with you.
Yeah, in Australia, it's way worse than it
really
was in America. It's still, yeah. Like, we have this thing like where it's bad to be successful in Australia.
What? Oh, and, tall poppy, right? Isn't that what
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. We are like the center of the tall poppy cutting down universe. Australia, like entrepreneurs, like successful entrepreneurs, are not like people who are held up as good examples or anything like that here in Australia. You guys, it's much different to the US. I think it's a bit of a shame, really. Like anybody who does anything really well, it's always like, and then there's questions asked about their character and blah, blah, and this and that. And they probably fucked somebody to get where they are and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just like, Jesus. It's gross. It's gross. So yeah, like working on yourself, if you were talking about that with your friends, they'd all look at you like you just grew a second head or something like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I think that's such a shame. That's such a huge shame, honestly. But
it's weird to say it out loud and be like, "You want to make yourself better? How dare you? What the fuck? How is that like a bad? I don't know. It's so weird to me." And then, when you, I'm glad it's normalized. Like, a lot of the worldview you have, and like the decisions you make, and your stance on money, your stance on life, your stance on religion, your stance on politics, your stance on other humans in general is like built when you're a kid, and you learn most of it from your parents. Who, honestly, anyone here listening, tell me you got amazing parents who have great worldviews? Probably not, right? Like they have their worldview. And yours has adapted over time, and now like it's become mainstream to work on yourself and become better and like deal with your past trauma and like understand where your beliefs are coming from and that they can change. And so the fact that was like ever like looked down upon it, I don't know, it just blows my mind, because I don't know, if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to Tony Robbins, go listen to him and tell me you're not like inspired to be a better human, and why would that be a bad thing?
Right on.
That's it. There you go. Anyway, I will do my best. I know I got yelled at last time we did one of these listicles to get all of these in the show notes so you can click through them. I'll do my best at minimum. Go to Google, type in Slide As Jeff Olson. You'll find all of these or any of the books we mentioned. But I'll try to put them in the show notes as well. And yeah, thanks for joining us, and see y'all next week.
See ya.